Welcome to Wrestle Recap. I am Dylan Graves, joined by John Sutton, bringing you the Raw Recap. If you want to support Wrestle Recap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and let us know how we're doing. But with that being said, let's get into it. So Raw is live this week from St. Paul, Minnesota at the XL Energy Center. And Seth Rollins kicks off the show with the special rules thing. He invites out the, quote, two morons and reminds them that they can't lay a finger on each other, and also if they lay a finger on him, the match is off as well. So with that being said, Punk takes his ball and leaves the court. Punk says he's not scared of Drew and not worried about Seth. He's worried about what he'll do, so he's just going to chill by the announce table. Seth calls Punk out for basically being a control freak and tells him that that's not how this is going to work and that's not how SummerSlam is going to work. Seth says he volunteered for this because these two idiots scared off all the other officials, but he can just take the ref shirt off and head backstage and the whole match will be off. But Seth wants to see him fight. Drew wants the fight. The fans want the fight. So if Punk wants the fight, he needs to get back in Seth's ring. Punk calls Seth a bootlicking office boy, which is like the epitome of irony. Punk says that Seth loves being able to lord over him right now, and that he has to do everything that Seth says. So Seth should enjoy it while he can. Then Drew kind of plays like the devil on Seth's shoulder and says that their relationship is a professional rivalry and they just want what's best, or they just want to be the best and want what's best for the WWE. Unlike Punk, who is a cancer. Show me the lie. Drew tells Seth that Punk is basically corrupting the next generation of stars down in NXT and calls him the real enemy. Seth agrees that if anyone hates CM Punk as much as Drew, it's him. But if anyone hates Drew McIntyre as much as CM Punk, it's also him. Seth basically just tells him to shut up and listen. And he says that there's only one rule, and that is that they will listen to everything he has to say. Seth basically tells him that it's going to be a free-for-all as long as it's what he wants to see. And CM Punk tells Seth that he hopes that he referees better than he dresses. Punk says that he doesn't believe that Seth is going to call the match down the middle. And Drew tells Punk that when the bell rings, he's going to blacken both of Punk's eyes and break his jaw, because this isn't a wrestling match. Then what is it?
It's an arse kicking.
Ah, okay. Drew says he won't stop until Punk's heart does. Drew says that with SummerSlam in a stadium, he's going to get paid so much money to do the same, or to do something that he'd do for free. CM Punk says he was gone for 10 years and the people still chanted his name. They chant his name, they sing Seth's song. So Drew's kind of the third wheel in the match. Punk coins the acronym PDS, which stands for Punk Derangement Syndrome. And he says that both Drew and Seth have it, but there's a positive that comes with having PDS. And that's that they both get to be in his orbit and breathe the rare air that he produces. Bruh. Come on.
I'm breathing the same air.
Yeah. I mean,
not directly, but...
Yeah. I mean, that line was just ridiculous. Like, tell me you're full of yourself without telling me you're full of yourself. Punk tells Drew that he dumbs himself out of things, and that Drew is his own worst enemy. Punk says that, I guess he goes on here and he says something about he may not be, like, as tall as Drew. He may not be as strong as Drew. But there's one thing that he's got, and that's heart. And the people chanting his name. And he asks what Drew's got. So Drew holds up the bracelet that he took from Punk. This basically just ends this whole segment because Punk throws his mic down and gets right in Drew's face. And they kind of exchange words that aren't picked up by the mic. As we head backstage to the Judgment Day's clubhouse.
And things are getting interesting.
Yeah, you know, I always say that I still read this as, I guess that's backstage with the bloodline that I always say is that I read like At Home with Baker Mayfield, but we're getting real close to, we're getting real close to being at that stadium that was At Home with Baker Mayfield, even though it hasn't really been his home for a few years.
At Home with the Judgment Day.
Yeah. The clubhouse has been vandalized, including the PS5, which has Carlito absolutely devastated. Dom wonders who could have done such a thing.
Goddamn PS5.
But everyone else can already tell, and it seems like Dom is just trying to play dumb. There's also a Liv's Finally on Top shirt right behind them. Rhea says that they can rebuild the clubhouse, but Liv won't be able to rebuild the damage she's going to do to her at SummerSlam. And apparently this is where Liv stepped over the line. Like vandalizing the clubhouse, not...
No, vandalizing the PS4. The PS5.
See, I don't think Rhea really cares about that.
She should.
She
should.
I don't think she does.
She needs to. I care.
Carlito wants to know if they're going to get a new one. Because,
so do I.
That's what he brings up. He asks if they're getting a new PlayStation. And Dom just tells him that it's not the time. But then... Imagine
if Carlito just sides with, Liv Morgan all in the ruse just to get another PS5.
I mean, I could see it. I feel like Carlito could very easily be baited in with a new PS5.
And she's like, and he goes, "Can I get my PS5?" And she goes, "You can have whatever you want."
I feel like this man would join Pretty Deadly if they promised him a PS5.
A spot in their play? Oh.
Oh no, he'd be getting a spot in Pretty Deadly, the music.
Yeah.
So Dom takes Carlito off to the side, and then Rhea asks wants to know what Carlito is still doing there. We then see Otis and Akira Tozawa, along with Maxine, coming out for their match as we head into the commercial break. On the other side of the break, we're back to the clubhouse, and they're cleaning stuff up. JD is getting the Liv shirt down. I'm glad they actually addressed this and didn't just oh yeah, we're cleaning it up, nothing. No big deal. Other than the previous thing where they made it a big deal. Dom finds a surviving Black Rose and gives it to Rhea.
Who could have done such a thing?
Yeah. Damian Priest comes in looking all pissed off, and he wants to be in Finn's corner tonight, but Finn don't want him to be. Finn says that they need to deal with Jay and Sammy, but Priest and Rhea say they dealt with them in the past. So it just seems like they're going backwards. Finn says that JD, Dom, and Carlito can do it. And Dom says Carlito can start with Sammy. So Carlito takes off to go talk to Pierce. We then head back down to the ringside area. And I question why Otis, Akira, and Maxine are still coming out to the Alpha Academy music in Tron, despite the fact that they're not part of the Alpha Academy anymore. Otis and Julius Creed start the match, and the Creeds isolate Otis in their corner before Otis takes them both down with double clothesline. Akira hits an assisted diving crossbody for a near fall. Julius grabs Akira in a suplex position while seated and stands up while keeping Tozawa up to end up hitting a Falcon Arrow. The Creeds hit a double team gut wrench splash for 2, and Akira Tozawa starts to fire up. He hits a missile drop kick, sending Brutus out of the ring, and follows it up with the S-dive. Akira rolls Brutus back into the ring and goes up top, and Julius pulls Brutus out of the ring, seemingly way too early, because Akira kind of goes for a dive, but kind of also just like falls off the top rope because Brutus is already out of the ring.
He's like, my leg.
Yeah, it seemed like Brutus was pulled out of the way too soon, so then Akira had to improvise on what to do to sell him getting back down onto the canvas without just, stepping down.
Yeah. Gets up. You know what? Never mind. Heights aren't my thing.
Brutus takes Tozawa down with a clothesline as we head into the commercial break. On the other side of the break, Brutus has control, and Otis was knocked off the apron during the break. Tozawa hits a DDT, and Otis gets the hot tag and takes the fight to Julius. Otis posts Julius before Gable gets up on the apron, taking Otis's attention. Otis goes after Gable, and Julius tries to take advantage, but Otis catches him and hits a slam. Otis hits the caterpillar and goes to the second rope, but Brutus tries to take him down. However, Otis just sends Brutus down, and Gable gets on the apron again, but Otis catches him with a right. This distraction allowed the Creeds to take advantage and hit a double back suplex to pick up the win. Gable has the Creeds hold Otis up, and Gable berates Otis before dropping him with a punch and locking in the ankle lock. Maxine jumps on Gable's back to get him to break the hold, and Gable gets right in her face, so she slaps him. And
I wish that was my back.
So she slaps him, and she's prepared to fight, but then the lights go out and the Wyatt 6 music plays. The crowd chants, "You f***ed up," as Ramblin' Rabbit, Mercy the Buzzard, and Huskus the Pig come down to the ring, where Gable and the Creeds stand ready. When they get to the apron, the Wyatts unmask, revealing to apparently only Chad Gable's surprise that it's actually Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy. Gable turns to most likely leave the ring and try to evade anything, but he gets taken out by Nikki Cross with a diving crossbody, who at this time gets referred to as Sister Abigail by Michael Cole. So I will from now on be referring to her as that when with the mask on versus mask off, just like with the others. Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis take the Creeds down with stereo Uranagis, and the blonde dreads that Dexter Lumis has, I thought they were part of his mask. Man takes the mask off, and it's just his actual hair.
Yeah, that was crazy as hell. That's straight up Bray Wyatt stuff.
Gable flees up the ramp as the Wyatt 6 music plays again. But obviously there's still one missing, as Uncle Howdy comes out behind Gable. So he just runs off to the side of the Tron as we head into a commercial break. When we come back from the break, we get a flashback to right before the break. I guess this is where Michael Cole refers to Nikki Cross's character as Sister Abigail. We then head back to the Judgment Day's clubhouse. But I guess before we get to that, the match, it served a purpose. The Creeds are always going to do decent enough work. I still think that Brutus got pulled out of the way too soon. But, I mean, because Akira Tozawa is always going to throw his body all over the place.
He's like a flailing fish. He'll just be like, ah!
Yeah. I mean, he always just flies. And, yeah, I mean, it was a decent enough television match. But heading backstage to the clubhouse again, they're still cleaning up, and Carlito comes back with a different apple than when he left. It was red when he left, and now it's green. So it must have been a long walk, and he finished one and then stopped off at catering to get another. Carlito says that the match is official, so Dom asks him when his match is, and Carlito says that it's Dom versus Sammy, not Carlito versus Sammy. Obviously, this was not what he was supposed to do. So Dom says that since Carlito is free, he can face Jay tonight. Carlito says that he'll have to get his baby oil. But then Rhea tells Carlito that he has to handle Jay alone tonight. We then head back down to the ringside area. And we get a flashback to Pete Dunne attacking Sheamus, and then Sheamus taking out Pete Dunne last week. And Sheamus is taking on Bronson Reed this week in what's likely another snooze fest because it's a Bronson Reed match.
Bronson Reed about to take a L here.
They trade blows to start and trade control until Sheamus clotheslines Reed out of the ring and hits a diving clothesline from the top rope to the outside. Reed catches Sheamus with a Samoan drop onto the announce table as we head into a commercial break. On the other side of the break, Reed takes Sheamus down with a clothesline, and they take turns trying to show who's stronger till Sheamus just takes Reed down with a knee strike. Sheamus goes for the white noise, but he can't get Reed lifted up. So Sheamus goes up top for a diving clothesline, but Bronson Reed dodges it and hits a Death Valley driver for 2. Reed goes up top this time, but Sheamus stops him and goes up with him. Sheamus hits an avalanche white noise for a near fall, followed by 16 beats of the Bowrin. Bronson Reed is supposed to have gotten his foot stuck in the ropes here, but he botches it, so he's just holding his leg kind of over the rope, and the ref is pretending that it's stuck to draw his attention over. Sheamus sets up for the brogue kick, but Pete Dunne cracks Sheamus with a shillelagh. This is enough that Bronson Reed is now able to be quote-unquote freed from the ropes, and he goes up and hits the tsunami to pick up the win. And I just noted that this match was incredibly clunky.
Shocker.
I cannot say that I entirely remember it, seeing as we are recording this a week later for the second time. But, yeah, I mean, from what I remember, this
science.
What's that?
I said I blame science.
You blame science?
From the clunkiness.
Oh. From what I remember,
and also, Bronson Reed hasn't really had any decent matches yet. I don't think that I remember.
No, I mean, he seems to be a Triple H passion project more than anything. But from what I remember of this match, it just wasn't that good. We then get a flashback to Gunther and Damian Priest last week before Damian Priest cuts a promo talking about the differences between him and Gunther. Jey Uso comes out for his match, leading to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee splooging themselves, with Michael Cole informing us that he lasts a lot longer now. Good to know, dog. Good to know.
For a minute, I thought that was Booker T.
We then head into a commercial break. And when we come back, Braun Breaker cuts a promo on Sami Zayn, He calls Sammy a stand-up comic and says that he didn't take him seriously at Money in the Bank, and that's on him. But he says that Sammy is too busy planning for life after wrestling with his comedy shows. And then Braun says that he's just going to destroy Sammy this weekend at SummerSlam. We then head back down to the ring for Jey Uso taking on Carlito. Carlito goes right after Jey, but Jey catches him with a super kick for 2. Jey hits a S-dive and maintains control until Carlito posts him. Carlito hits a spinning neck breaker to take us into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, Carlito hits a fireman's carry cutter for 2. And he goes for a corner splash, but Jey dodges and hits his combination of punches. Carlito hits a spine buster for 2, and then just kind of talking to himself, goes over to grab his apple. Jey rolls Carlito up for a near fall before hitting a spear to pick up the win. And just what a dumb way to end the match. And
a quick match at that.
Yeah. I mean, to go from hitting a spine buster and then rather than doing a move, like just randomly walking over, grabbing the apple, then arguing with the ref about having the apple, just to have the spot ready for Jey to spear him so that he can spit apple out. It was just dumb. It could have been set up better.
Yeah.
He didn't have to just blatantly get up from a pin and go grab the apple. He could have worked it in somewhere, like where he was going to try and do it quickly, not like just slowly meandering over to the corner while talking to himself like the crazy old guy from down the street.
Kinda is the crazy old guy from down the street, though. Bro got upset over a PS5 and now the clubhouse getting destroyed.
Hey, I mean, it's a PS5.
You know what? That's kind of what made him the crazy man down the street. Destroying that PS5. Poor guy.
Also in the post-match, Jey keeps eating the apple, and it's like, ew.
Carlito germs.
Well, not only did Carlito already take a couple bites out of it, but that apple rolled around on the canvas as well. The same
Sheamus
canvas.
Sweat and Bronson Reed
the
sweat.
same canvas that's had, let's see now, it's had sweat on it from, it's had anything that's been on the bottom of all their shoes, but it's got sweat on it from Otis, Akira Tozawa, the Creeds, Chad Gable, who else? Sheamus,
Wyatt Six.
Bronson Reed, the Wyatt Six. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Could not be me. But
Used apple.
we then head backstage where Jackie Redmond is with Zelina Vega. They're kind of standing at the end of a hallway with some conference room doors behind them that are obviously going to act as a wall. And I noted Zelina Vega still has her arm in a brace thing, and Vega refers to Shayna, Zoe, and Sonya as Team Forehead, and since she said their names, they appear and they interrupt her. They've got Zelina cornered, and while Vega may throw the first punch, it's still a 3-on-1 assault. And it ends with Shayna kicking Zelina's arm against the door. The injured arm at that, as we head into a commercial break. When we come back from the break, we get a flashback to before the break. And then we see that Zelina is in the trainer's room, along with Lyra, Kaden, and Katana. We then head backstage once again, where Kathy Kelly is with The Miz. The Miz announces that he will be the host of SummerSlam in his house, Cleveland, Ohio. R-Truth comes up and says, WWE brought back In Your House? Now that's what's up. The Miz tries to explain, but Truth says that The Miz lives in LA. And Truth asks how Miz is going to host a whole SummerSlam in his house in Cleveland. So Miz breaks it down as simple as he can for Truth. But Truth takes it as The Miz is a party host and tells him that he's not. But Miz tells him he's not that kind of host. So Truth calls him a bad host and says that he's got him, though. And Truth dips. Oh, I guess R-Truth was talking about hors d'oeuvres. And Miz says he's not bringing hors d'oeuvres. So that's what made him a bad host. Because Kathy Kelly asks, so you're not bringing hors d'oeuvres? And The Miz flips out at her and asks who'd even want hors d'oeuvres. At which point, R-Truth pops back in and says he'd take one. And then we see Kathy Kelly slowly raise her hand as well. So The Miz says fine, he'll bring the hors d'oeuvres. So I'm hoping that we get a segment during SummerSlam where we see The Miz with the hors d'oeuvres and have R-Truth and Kathy Kelly there.
In a fake house.
That'd be great. I would love it.
10 out of 10.
I loved this segment. I think that it's stupid, but that's what makes it great. And
That's R-Truth being a national treasure.
oh, for sure. And I also, what really makes me like it even more is the fact that we're seeing actual personality from the interviewers now, rather than being just a person asking questions.
Yeah. Like back in the golden days.
Yeah, something like that. They then show us the video package from the Japan tour, once again shooting themselves in the foot over AJ Styles. But at least they came up with an excuse for why Kofi's not competing still. And they say that he re-aggravated his shoulder, and that explains why he's not around. And now it's time for Xavier Woods versus Karrion Kross, so I know it's your match of the night.
Good night.
No, I didn't say for you to go to sleep. Like, I didn't say good night. I said it's your match of the night.
Yeah, night. Good night.
But you'll miss your favorite. You're gonna miss your favorite match.
No.
What do you mean no?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you'll miss your favorite match if you go to sleep.
I hope I do. You're
gonna make me cover this alone?
You know what? Maybe I will for this match.
Unreal. Karrion Kross has something to say before the match. He says that he was just told that Kofi re-injured himself in Japan, and that's why he's not here. So Kross spins it to say that Kofi isn't here because it's not all about him. Kross also says that he wants Woods to join the Final Testament and tell everyone that the power of positivity was always a lie. Kross also wants Woods to tell Kofi that he should have retired after he lost the world title in 6 seconds. I noted here that match was also dumb, but probably not as dumb as this one's going to be.
Not as dumb in any
Oh, you're good. You're awake.
Yeah, or AOP's matches.
So, since you're awake, you can cover this match with me then.
I just heard that and I had to go back to sleep.
Oh, Woods drops Kross, and the ref calls for the bell. Woods clotheslines Kross out of the ring and hits a drop kick through the ropes as we head into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, Karrion Kross is in control, and he hits a fall-away slam for a near fall. Kross keeps telling Woods that New Day is dead, and Kross tells Woods that he's the worst King of the Ring ever and starts calling Woods trash. Xavier Woods starts to fight back, and he hits a forearm and a corner splash before he rolls Kross up for 2. Scarlett distracts the ref, allowing Akam to take a cheap shot on Woods. Cross goes for the final prayer, but Woods counters with a super kick and hits an S dive on Akam. Razar goes after Woods, but Woods dodges, so Razar posts himself. Cross dodges the limit break elbow and then hits the final prayer to pick up the win. And honestly, the only thing I got to say about all of this is that I really hope that the whole story is just setting up Big E's return. Big E recently...
Make something exciting happen. I know it's not going to come from AOP and the Final Testament side.
Big E recently posted on X that he's got stem cells flowing through his body now. So I'm really hoping that this is the story to lead back to his return.
Possibly.
I mean, obviously, first and foremost, we just want Big E to be happy and healthy and be able to live a normal-ish life for the life of a WWE superstar / alumni.
A guy with broke a freaking neck.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't compete anymore, I'm assuming he's still going to have some job, even if it's just working on the pre-shows. But, like, a relatively normal life for someone in the position he's in. But, obviously, we would also love to see him back in the ring. Following this, we see that former Minnesota governor and WWE Hall of Famer Jesse the Body Ventura is in attendance tonight, or at least he was here earlier and met with Triple H. One can assume he's probably in attendance for the show. Jackie Redmond is once again backstage, this time with Sami Zayn. And Sami says that he thinks it's funny that Braun thinks he's going to lose since he's doing a comedy show the night before, but he did one the night before Money in the Bank and still managed to beat Braun. Sami says he knows that Braun is taking him seriously this time, though, because he keeps jumping him from behind. And I was really hoping that Braun was just going to spear him out of this promo, because it had already gone on too long.
It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same shit. Just change up the words a little bit. Just, copy the homework, but don't make it obvious.
More passion, more energy, more footwork, more footwork.
Sami says his attitude is different this time around as well. And he says that as far as the Judgment Day goes, he's going to take care of that right now. And then he heads out for his match with Dirty Dom. We head into a commercial break, and when we come back, Liv Morgan is shown outside burning Judgment Day items as well as pictures of her and Dom. There's quite a few pictures from such a short amount of time. The trailer behind her has Dom on it as well. And she calls Dom Rhea's little bitch and says all she can do now is make their life a living hell. And Liv says that at SummerSlam, she'll complete the revenge tour when she beats Rhea Ripley. We then head back to the ringside area for the match. And Dom taunts the crowd to start, but Sami takes control before Dom flees to the outside. They get back in the ring, and Sami sends Dom back over the ropes and out before he hits the Arabian Press as we head into the commercial break once again. When we come back from the break, Dom has taken control, and he hits a tornado DDT for a near fall. Sami takes control with a clothesline and a diving axe handle. But Dom counters the Blue Thunder Bomb and hits 3 amigos before going up top. Sami dodges the splash and hits the exploder into the corner. At this point, JD and Carlito come out, and Dom looks to take advantage with a roll-up, but only gets 2. Sami hits a backdrop and takes out Carlito and JD on the apron. Dom goes for the 619, but Sammy catches him with a clothesline. And Sammy hits the blue thunder bomb, but Carlito and JD attack Sammy, forcing the DQ. They continue the assault on Sammy after the bell, and Jey Uso makes the save, with Jey dropping the rope, causing Carlito to spill out of the ring. Jey then spears JD and sends Dom over the top rope before flying over the top rope to take them all out. And Sammy's looking out at the carnage, but the dogs start barking, so that can only mean one thing.
It's Sabu!
Not quite.
Oh.
Braun Breaker attacks Sammy from behind, and Braun starts running the ropes to set up for the spear, but Sammy catches him with a big boot. Sammy hits the corner exploder on Braun, but Braun retreats from the ring to avoid the haluva kick. And Braun tried to get another sneak attack in, but Sammy catches him with a haluva kick, and they struggle to get Braun back over the ropes as Sammy's like trying to clothesline him out or whatever. And I mean, after a certain point, he should have just dropped and rolled out, but instead they just awkwardly struggled to get him over the ropes.
Yeah, that was weird.
Is this? Oh, nope. We forgot to do the predictions for the CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre match. I'm predicting it to be a no finish with something going down between the three of them. And this goes to a no finish, sets up a triple threat or something for further down the line.
I'm predicting Drew McIntyre to win. Clean. An awkward, clean match.
Okay. And then for the IC title, who you got in this one?
I got Breaker. For sure. He's got to win it now. If he doesn't win, we riot.
Yeah, I mean, he lost at Money in the Bank. There's no way that they're going to have him lose again. Lightning does not strike twice. The dogs are barking in the dog pound, and Braun Breaker will become the new Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Following this match, it's time for Dexter Loomis's tape. And really the only thing that was worth noting is that the tapes are really lackluster now that it's not Bo or Eric Rowan.
It's like a 30-second little promo and it's done.
Yeah. It's just 30 seconds of fast cuts and trying to be spooky.
Oh, spooky.
Spooky ghost. We then see backstage that Chad Gable and the Creeds are talking to Adam Pearce. Chad Gable has used his expert detective skills to determine the identities of the remaining Wyatt Six members. Pearce tells him that he already knows who they are and that they're under contract. Duh. Gable says that since they're under contract, he wants them in a 6-man tag match versus him and the Creeds. So Pearce makes it official. Following this...
R.I.P.
Yeah, pretty much. Following this, Lyra Valkyria, Caden Carter, and Katana Chance come out for their match against your favorite women's tag team. Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, and Zoe Stark as we head into the commercial break. Following the break, we get the Patastrator segment about the upcoming DLC pack for 2K24. All I got to say about the DLC pack is it is an absolute waste to be having the guys from the Pat McAfee show be DLC. There's no business in doing this. It is it's crap. Plain and simple. Moving on. I mean, there's no... I can't formulate proper words to explain how ridiculous this is. We're having people from a talk show be paid content that nobody wants, but we're getting that for the season pass in place of people that we would actually care about.
Yeah.
It's crap. It's literal crap.
That's poop in your mouth.
Like, Pat McAfee being in the game, sure. No problem with that. The rest of them, no business. They don't have anything to do with WWE. They've got no business being in this game.
But, you know, whatever. Whatever makes them more money, I guess.
Yeah. Following this, Rhea Ripley cuts a promo on Liv before we head back down to the ringside area for the match. We get a flashback to the rivalry between these two sets, these two teams so far. And Lyra and Sonya will start the match. Sonya takes control early, and Shayna holds Lyra while Zoe hits a springboard missile dropkick for a 1. The heroes do a triple threat move on Zoe and send Zoe out of the ring to take control as we head into the commercial break. When we come back, Shayna, Zoe, and Sonya have control, and they've got Lyra isolated in their corner. But Kayden Carter gets the hot tag to take control, and she hits a springboard leg drop for 2. Carter goes for something, but Shayna dodges it and hits a knee strike. Zoe and Shayna go for their alley-oop into a knee, but Kayden Carter hits a Hurricane Rana on Zoe and sends Shayna out of the ring. Carter and Chance hit a double-team codebreaker move, and Lyra hits a sit-out powerbomb on Zoe for a near fall, with Shayna and Sonya saving the match. Stark rolls Lyra up for 2, with Kayden and Katana Chance saving the match this time. Carter and Chance clear the ring and drag Lyra over to tag in. They set up for the after party, but Sonya drags Kayden out of the ring before they can hit it. Then Chance rolls Zoe up for 2. Zoe hits a knee, followed by the Z360 to pick up the win. And then Damage Control come out in the post-match to confront them. So, Damage Control face turn. Just a few months after kicking Bayley out of their group because she wanted to, or because she face turned. Interesting. Didn't have that on my 2024 bingo card. Damage Control sends them out of the ring, and Io takes them all out with an over-the-moon salt to the outside before we are shown a promo from earlier in the day that Gunther has cut on Damian Priest. Following the promo, we head into a commercial break. Following the break, Kathy Kelly talks to Damage Control backstage, and Io and Kairi Sane respond in Japanese, obviously. And then Dakota Kai says that they only been running Raw, they being Zoe, Shayna, and Sonya. They've only been running Raw because Damage Control has been gone. And Dakota Kai challenges Sonya to a match next week. And then they run through the SummerSlam card. I don't personally recall seeing it, but I have heard that at one point they had the Wyatt 6 red circle somewhere behind Dakota Kai, seemingly indicating that she might be Nikki Cross's first target, which Dakota Kai turned on Tegan Knox back in NXT. So that
and
would be
Bayley.
That's different.
She's still turned on there.
I mean, that Nikki, the whole of Damage Control turned on her. Nikki Cross can't 1v4 this when Asuka inevitably comes back, albeit, if I remember correctly, Asuka's going to be out for like well over a year. Don't quote me on that, though. I know
she'll be gone for a while.
Yeah, she's for sure gone for a while, but I'm pretty sure I remember hearing that she's going to be out for like well over a year, because I think she announced on the Japan tour that recovery is not going as planned. Something like that. Again, don't quote me on that, because it's incredibly likely that I'm wrong.
I'm going to quote him on that.
But, so it seems like Dakota Kai might be Nikki Cross's first conquest, so to speak. Well, we then head back to the Judgment Day's clubhouse for like the millionth time tonight. And Dom is icing himself, and Rhea says that she just doesn't understand or doesn't know what they were thinking. JD says that they can't just let everyone walk all over them. Finn says that Rhea is right. They got in this mess together, and after SummerSlam, they'll get out of the mess together. Rhea tells Finn that they can come out there with him, but he says that at SummerSlam, Rhea and Priest are going it alone, so tonight, he's got to step up and go it alone too. Unless they don't think he's good enough. Rhea says it's not what they mean, but Finn says he's going to soften Gunther up so Damian Priest can finish him at SummerSlam. Gunther comes out for the match as we head into a commercial break. Following the break, we see they run us through the things that are on the slate for next week. So far, it's just the Wyatt Six taking on Gable and the Creeds, and then Dakota Kai versus Sonya Deville is official for next week. But now it's time for the main event. Finn lands some chops to start, but Gunther just drops him with a chop of his own. Finn hits the basement drop kick and a soccer kick before Gunther takes Finn down with a big boot to take us into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, Gunther is in control, but Finn fights back before Gunther takes him down with a chop to the back, or a chop and a back suplex for a near fall. Gunther locks in the Boston Crab, but Finn gets to the bottom rope. Gunther puts Finn up top, but Finn starts landing some elbows. So Gunther just chops him in the back and goes for a back superplex, but Finn turns it into a crossbody by shifting his weight in the air. Finn hits his elbow drop thing that's basically like the Deville's Advocate for 2. He goes for a sling blade, but Gunther catches him and locks in a sleeper hold. Finn hits an arm drag to escape it, and Gunther hits a chop and locks in a rear naked choke. Finn hits a DDT and starts to gain some momentum, but Gunther takes him down with a clothesline for a near fall. Following this, they have a chop battle, and Finn hits a sling blade and goes for the shotgun drop kick, but Gunther locks in a sleeper hold. Finn rolls through, though, and hits a double stomp, followed by a double leg takedown and 2 more double stomps. Very reminiscent of the NXT Demon Finn Balor that we would get. Finn hits the shotgun drop kick, and Gunther dodges the coup de grace, though, and locks in a sleeper hold. Gunther hits a power bomb for a near fall and locks the sleeper hold back in. Finn tries to escape, but Gunther drops down and wraps around him, leading to Finn Balor passing out. So Gunther wins via submission, but Gunther immediately locks in a rear naked choke after the bell, leading to Damian Priest coming out to fight Gunther, and Priest just beats Gunther's ass all over the ringside area, probably because he's going to lose on Saturday.
R.I.P.
So, looking at the predictions for the Damian Priest versus Gunther match. Obviously, I just said that I think that Damian Priest is going to lose. However, while I think Gunther is going to win, I think it's going to happen via disqualification, because I think that Finn Balor is going to get involved and cause the disqualification. Therefore, Gunther wins, but Damian Priest retains the title. This further cements the separation between Priest and Balor, but it doesn't take the title off of Priest. Therefore, Gunther can dethrone Priest in a rematch at the Bash in Berlin.
I'm going to predict Gunther wins via Judgment Day shenanigans.
And did we cover Liv Morgan and Rhea?
No, you asked me, and I said that I was going to pick Liv to win.
Okay. Yeah, that's who I'm predicting to win. I just don't see them strapping Rhea up immediately after she comes back.
No, she's not Charlotte Flair.
Definitely not.
Dude, anytime Charlotte Flair comes back for a championship, I'm like, well, she's getting it.
Yeah. Like,
there doesn't even have to be a build-up. She could come back, like, the night before, be like, I'm fighting you for the championship. And I'd be like, well, she just won.
And that's the honest truth about how that goes. Like, everybody says that they got to go away for people to miss them. I don't miss Charlotte. I don't.
No, because when she comes back, she's probably getting a title opportunity.
Exactly.
She's also a 15-time, or is it a 14-time women's champion?
The number gets skewed because they count certain things. I don't remember. I think they count the NXT title as well, just to like boost the number.
I don't know. However many times she's won it, it's sickening.
Yeah, I mean, the rumor for the longest time was that they wanted to push her to have 17 title reigns, so that way she would be the sole holder, and they could say that they've got a woman that's had more world title reigns than anybody. But like I said, I do not miss seeing Charlotte on my TV, because it's just the same thing. She just buries everybody.
Okay, I just looked it up. She's a 13-time women's champion. 6-time Raw champion, 7-time SmackDown champion.
Right, but then sometimes the WWE will say that she's, you said a 13?
Yep.
Okay, so then they'll sometimes
they also
say
have,
that she's a 15 because she's a 2-time NXT champion.
Nope. This just on Google it says 17. For the championships we were talking about, I looked up. And then she won the NXT championship twice and both the women's tag team and Diva championships once. So yeah.
Didn't she win the Divas championship the night before it got changed to the women's championship?
Yeah, so like I said, it's probably skewed.
That transitions in. So they count
16 time.
Well, it would be 15. 13 between the main roster women's titles, and then 2 times for the NXT women's.
But it's going to be stupid, though, because if she does... I mean, that was He Who Shall Not Be Named's vision, probably. But...
I mean, they booked her strong down at NXT, and that was when it was Triple H.
Yeah, I can't, like... Cena's got to break the record, right? He's got to hold on to it. She didn't really hold it.
I don't see a path where John Cena becomes the longest, or the person to hold the sole record for the most world title wins. I don't see a path for him to either one of the main championships.
You can do it.
There's no viable path for him in the next year. It would have to be something just completely out of left field.
You can't see him, but I know you didn't see him, but I'm sure he'll be there at SummerSlam battling Priest and Gunther for the championship. You just can't see him.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's how that works.
Just saying.
That concludes the Raw recap. Once again, I've been Dylan Graives, joined by John Sutton. This has been Wrestle Recap. If you want to support Wrestle Recap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and let us know how we're doing. You can also click the video that's floating on your screen right now and check out another recap. But until next time, goodbye.